Hi, Tony DeWitt here, a Missouri appellate attorney, and instead of making the law make sense in this series of videos, I'm trying to make success make sense and to give people the benefit of about 50 years of experience in trying to get ahead and do the right thing. So, more on that in just a moment. I would greatly appreciate it if you would smash the like button when you watch this, for several reasons. One, so that other people will know that it is worthwhile content, and two, so that YouTube will know that it is worthwhile content. It really helps the YouTube algorithm when people leave comments down below and say things like "this helped," if it does. So again, I'd appreciate it if you would do those things for me. With that out of the way, let's get started on vision. One of the things that I said you needed in a success toolkit was vision. And no, I'm not talking about eyesight. I'm talking about a vision of where you want to go, what you want to do. I believe that the first thing you have to do in order to be successful is know who you are. And the second thing you have to do is know where you're going. Knowing why you're pursuing the goals and objectives that you're pursuing is critical to getting ahead and critical to being successful in any field of endeavor. What you do is begin by looking inside yourself. Having a vision begins with a look inside at what you are, at what you do, what makes you happy, what stresses you out. And more importantly, what do you want to be when you grow up? Now for me, I didn't grow up till I was 35 years old. I didn't figure out that I wanted to be a lawyer until I was literally 35 years old. I graduated from law school at the age of 35, and when most of my contemporaries in law school were graduating in the 26, 27, 28 range. You can only imagine how difficult it is when you're competing with people younger than you for a job. And that's what I found. I found that it was difficult in that environment. So let me tell you how a therapist became a lawyer. I was a respiratory therapist. I did that for 13 years. And it just seemed that no matter how hard I tried, I could not get the hospital administration to listen to me. I believed in quality care. I believed in good patient care. And I believe you needed to have enough staff to do that job. Unfortunately, the hospitals seemed to think that they could cut the staff and still maintain the same quality of care, and that was rarely the case. In fact, most of the hospitals that cut staff in the 1980s have now brought back a great deal of those people. Another thing about vision, too many people look at what they've done to help determine what their vision should be. That's the wrong way to go about it. Developing a vision is a forward-thinking process. It demands that you get out of your comfort zone and think about who you are and where you want to go. Now, success is not measured by what you've done. What you've done is history. It is written in stone. You can't change your history, but you can change your future. And that's what you need to do. You need to think about what you can still do. A lot of people spend their lives as if they were driving an automobile using the rear view mirror. They're always looking back and saying, wow, in 2010 I did this, in 2015 I did that. Stop that. What are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do today that is going to make tomorrow better for you? Until you develop a grasp of what those things are and what they look like, you're not going to be able to formulate the plans and goals and objectives that you need to formulate in order to be successful. Where are you today? What job are you doing? Are you happy? Are you sad? Do you like what you're doing? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? And if you don't know where you're going, when you get there, you'll be lost. It's a famous Yogi Bearism. And when you think about it, it's absolutely true, and it defines a lot of people you know. They don't know where they're going, and they don't know when they get there. A lot of people are already there. They are mired in mediocrity. And the reason they're mired in mediocrity is because they can't think ahead. They can't plan. They can't think that they might have a better life down the road if they worked harder or differently today. In 1997, I got divorced, and it was a pretty significant event in my life, and it really caused me a great deal of financial pain as well as professional pain. I had a lot of issues with finances, and that's when I sat down and I got to work on Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. One of the fundamental tenets of Think and Grow Rich is this statement: what the human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. When you conceive something, when you conceptualize it, you do it up here in your brain. You develop a picture of where you want to go in your brain. And once that's recorded, once you know what that objective is, then you can pursue it. And what the human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. We'll talk more about belief and achievement later, but right now it's important to focus on the fact that you need to have a vision in order to be successful. If you find yourself in a situation where you're not happy with your life, where you're in a dead-end job, you're not making the money you think you ought to make, you don't have the opportunities that you think you ought to have, there's a simple process. You drain the tub. You just pull the plug and let it go. And you start filling that tub up with things that are going to move you further down the road, get you to the point where you need to be. Start with a clean piece of paper and a vision of where you want to go. Where is it you want to be in 5 years? What kind of job do you want to have? What kind of car do you want to drive? What kind of house do you want to live in or apartment? Maybe sometimes you start smaller, but you start. Where do you want to be in 10 years? You write all of this down, and then you think about it. You put it away for at least a week, you pull it back out, and you look at it again. And you say, okay, I need to change this, I need to alter that. Maybe this isn't what I want to do. Introspection is key. You have to think about where you're going. You have to be able to imagine alternate possible futures. For example, when I became a lawyer, one of the things that people told me a lot was, there's too many lawyers. You're not going to be successful. You're just going to be another guy out there, stumping for business, trying to locate people who've had car wrecks. And there are a lot of lawyers out there that hunt for car wreck victims, and I understand that. They're trying to make a living too. But they are in a position every day where they are no better ahead than they were the day before because they don't have the vision to imagine themselves doing something other. I started out and I wanted to be a trial attorney. And after about 3 years, I figured out I was not going to be a great trial attorney. It takes a long time to learn that discipline, and I just did not have what it took to be good in the courtroom. What I did have the ability to do was write well, and I became an appellate attorney. I handled appeals, and I found that I loved that. And so I built my success on the basis of what I loved to do. The key thing you have to do is find out what you are going to love to do. And then, if you don't love to do it, be smart enough to realize that there are no fixed ends. You can simply change and go a different direction. I did all of this at 35, and I changed to an appellate lawyer when I was 42. I did that, and I became much more successful because I had a better view of where I was going. I had a vision of what I wanted to be. Now, There are people who believe that winning is everything, that money is all important, and that success is measured in cars and houses and boats and things like that, long vacations. It isn't. Success is measured internally. We talked about that in the last video. Success is a personal definition. You get to decide when you're successful, when you're happy with what you are and who you are and what you do. Many of you may be familiar with the great football coach Vince Lombardi. He knew that when you are in a quest for success, that you have to pay a price for it. Success doesn't just walk up, knock on your door, and come in and say, "Yoo-hoo, here I am." That never happens. You have to go wrestle that bear to the ground and drag him into the house. That's how you become successful. And yeah, you're going to get some cuts and scrapes and maybe a few bite marks along the way. But you can do it. Here's what Vince Lombardi said about the price of success. He said, "Once you agree upon the price you and your family must pay for success, it enables you to ignore the minor hurts, the opponent's pressure, and the temporary failures. When you develop your vision, you also have to be cognizant of the price you're going to pay. If you want to be the next Bill Gates, you have to be willing to pay that price and do the kinds of things that Bill Gates did. You have to be prepared for the personal costs, not the economic ones. Although in Bill Gates' case, I guess those are the same now. No amount of success in business or an occupation is going to be worthwhile if at the end of the day your family hates you or simply views you as an ATM machine. You have to balance your life. So when you develop your vision, you have to be cognizant of the costs that are down the road. That is the process of developing a vision. It's basically, who am I? Where do I want to go? And how am I going to get there? How much is it going to cost? How much time is it going to take away from my family? Is it worth it? Those are all questions you need to ask yourself. Once you have a vision, then we can start working on goals and objectives. And we'll talk about that in a later video. If you found this helpful or interesting or useful, I would greatly appreciate it if you would smash that like button for me, right? Smash that like button and say thank you for doing this. I'd love to see comments down below about what you think about all this. Do you think this will help you? Do you believe that you can become successful? And then, in addition to that, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the rest of the Success Series. Thank you so much for watching. Have a terrific day.